Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And today is going to be the first edition of a new show we're going to do every week called Fantasy Trends. So it can be a different thing each week, different stats that we see that maybe are interesting that could, help you in your season. Today, we're going to be talking about one player in particular who over the last 5 weeks of the season, they might be better than you've expected. And we're going to talk about, it's Michael Carter. I'm going to talk about Michael Carter today. So over the last 5 weeks, we were 10 weeks in. So let's go the last 5 weeks. Michael Carter in points per game over the last 5 weeks is the 9th best running back in the NFL in half point PPR over the last 5 weeks, which I don't know how many times we've actually talked about Michael Carter in this show, but it's not many, except in a recap. Every week we talk about everybody in the recap. We don't talk about Michael Carter very much, but 9th best in half point PPR and points per game over the last 5 weeks is something that we should be talking about. He's averaging 16.4 points per game in half point PPR. That's to me pretty good. He's better than DeAndre Swift over that time, which, we love DeAndre Swift. He's better than Darrell Henderson. He's better than Austin Eckler. He's better than James Robinson. He's better than or Cordero Patterson, Melvin Gordon, all these different names. Aaron Jones got hurt, but he's better than Aaron Jones. Josh Jacobs. I could keep going. He's better than Dalvin Cook. If you really want to go to it, he's better than Dalvin Cook over that time. That's a lot of guys. Zeke, he's better than Zeke in points per game. Man, is Michael Carter like a sneaky play that could win you something going forward? He's probably your third best running back, right, at best. But Michael Carter, is this something you think can continue? Are you on board with this? Or is this just okay, he's had a couple good weeks, the Jets suck, don't believe in it? Or do we need to actually look at this guy a little bit?
No, we do. And I think the difference is the last few weeks, he's actually been like a touchdown threat. Pretty much ever since week 4, but we never really thought it was going to be a real thing, right? Zach Wilson was playing very poorly. The Jets aren't very good. What is going to happen with all of this? But the attempts have stayed up, from week 4 on. They're actually increasing very slowly, so it's harder to see. But, especially from week 7, 11 to 15, 13, 16. Once again, the average rushing is not always there. But he's been able to get around the goal line, and he's added 2 touchdowns that way. And the receiving is really what has been a factor.
That's the key, I think, is the receiving.
Because really, week 9 against Indianapolis, when he only caught 1 ball, he was only targeted twice, was the outlier, actually. And that looked a lot more like weeks 1 through 5, when he either between, pretty much he always got 3 targets. But since week 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, obviously outlier, 7, 8, 9 targets and 14, and then 6 against Buffalo. He's just kind of turned into the all-around workhorse for the Jets, right? Who else is on that team making moves, making plays? There's not that many. They're going to keep putting him out there. He's a young guy. He has to prove himself. And I like the matchups coming up. Just because they're playing bad teams does not always mean that it's going to be an easy game for him. Sometimes they have very good rushing defenses, etc. But going this week, Miami, then at Houston, Philly, New Orleans, Miami, Jacksonville. I don't think you can get much better than that at this point. And because he's a young guy, I don't see them shelving him in order to, save his legs or anything of that nature. I don't know. I'm buying into it. The question is, how high do you actually think he's going to be able to go?
About the schedule again. So Miami is 15th right now against running backs in fantasy, middle of the road. Mm-hmm. Houston, I just had their number up. Houston is 27th.
They're terrible.
Yep. Philadelphia, if I had their number here a second ago, they're 24th. Bad. And New Orleans is good. New Orleans is tough. They're, I think, the second best. But then you go Miami again, which you said is middle of the road, 15th. Nothing that you're worried about at all. And then what we said, we have Jacksonville. Jacksonville is 20th. And then you go to Tampa, which is tough, but that's actually week 17. Not, don't worry about that. So they have one tough game between now and week 16 in fantasy defense. The rest are really easy. Michael Carter I feel like he's a target for you in trades. If trade deadlines are really close now, most leagues, I believe, are probably next week. A lot of leagues, some may go another week after, but next week. Michael Carter's still a name, though, that's just not, it's not like he's just, okay, everyone's not clamoring to get Michael Carter, right? But I feel like if you have a hole at running back, this is a guy you can probably go get for not a crazy price. I'm not going to say he's top 10 rest of the season, but we used to rank him 20 to 30. That's not where he should be. He's probably, at this point, from what I've seen, and he's the guy there and he's getting work, he's probably closer to 15th. He's a good running back 2 for me right now, but you don't have to play him like that. No one has him as a running back 2 typically. But schedule works out. It's the passing work that's receiving to me that what I'm on board with.
Yeah, it really boosted his stat line. Yep. And the I guess here's the interesting part. He really hasn't had a breakout game yet, right?
No, it's not there.
Week 8 against Cincinnati was the closest thing he had. 15 for 77 and a touchdown, and then his receiving was very good.
Breakout game,
right? 9 for 14, 95. In standard, he had 23.2 points. Obviously, if you're in half PPR, obviously it'd be a good amount more. That would be the closest thing he's had to it. Do you see that? Because, yes, he can definitely be a contributor to your team. I like going out and getting him because I don't think he's a name yet, and people aren't really sure because the Jets are so bad. Do you think that he's capable of having some more of those big games with this light schedule, or do you think that he's just going to be, hey, here's 10 points every other game?
I wouldn't go get him thinking you're going to get some massive games, but I think you can go get a steady guy. So in half point PPR, these are his last 6 weeks. 9.9, 13.3, 12.4, 27.7, 9.1, 16.2. The worst he's getting you is 9 points. And you know what? Sometimes that's just good. Like, he's steady. And actually, early on in the year, he had a couple games. Week 1 and 3 weren't good. He had 2.5 and 3.9. He had 9.8 in week 2. But since week 4 on, he's been the guy. He's got double-digit carries in all of those games. And the targets are there. The receptions are there, except for week 9, he didn't get much. But he had 8, 9, 4. Like, he's getting catches.
Yeah,
so,
and look, after the bye, he really came on, and look at who he's doing it against compared to who he's about to play. Yep. He did it against at New England, Cincinnati at home, at Indianapolis, and then Buffalo. Those are some tough places to play and tough defenses at times. I really like where this guy is headed. I think it's only going to get a little bit better, but I'm with you. I'm not expecting the big game, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. He could go out there and score you 30 points in one of these, right?
It could happen. I can see one of those matchups. He has some good ones.
Yeah. I should probably say more like 25.
Yeah. But Michael Carter, I think he's a sneaky play to go try to get right now. I really do. And he can help shore up your team. He's not your number 1, but he's just a steady option for you that might not take much to get. So Michael Carter, name we don't really talk about, but I think you should probably look at and see what you can do, especially with a decent schedule coming up. But all right, there we go. Fantasy trends, Michael Carter, top 10 running back over the last 5 weeks. So top 10 running back over the last 5 weeks, right? Yeah, we'll see if we can keep continuing. So all right, there we go. Talk to you guys next time.